Yo, what's going on guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more Katawa Shoujo. In the last episode, we got to hang out a little bit more with Lily and Hanako, and we met a new character, Rin, who doesn't have arms, and we got to spend a little time with her. So next thing on the list is that we're going to, I believe, go ahead to the track, as instructed by the nurse, to see about getting some exercise in. So, let's just jump right into this. And I am recording these back on back. So, this should be episode 4, I believe. So, episodes 2, 3, and this episode have been recorded pretty much all in one go. So, I apologize if I sound a little off, if I stumble on reading. I've been reading for a good couple hours now straight, so I apologize for any of that. But I just cannot stop this game right now. It's very intriguing, and I feel like I'm on a roll here. So let's get right back onto it. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I haven't already. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here for an all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're gonna let me get away that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with a talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempt from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued a gym outfit. I'd ordered some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kinda nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way. A bit like me. After all, if I'm gonna start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic-legged girl who bowled me over in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lithely, like a half-mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's just something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog just like he's oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my health, and his prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get out of it early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over.
Good morning. Your name is Hisao, right?
She grins, surprisingly pleased that she'd remembered my name.
You may not remember me. Emmy, I knocked you over in the hall yesterday.
How could I forget such a blunt introduction? Emmy has a decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling.
Yeah, sorry about that. Again.
Well, so long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose I'll be fine.
Great.
I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So, the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you?
That's right.
Oh. I was expecting someone from the nursing staff, to be honest.
What? Are you saying I don't look like I could be a spy?
No, this is more like a relief. I was afraid he would have someone to watch me. I was afraid he was going to have someone to watch my every move. Unless you're here to do exactly that.
No, I'm here for my own reason. The nurse just asked me if I'd seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kinda lost around the track.
So, why are you down here? Amy strikes a dramatic pose.
Training!
For what?
Track!
Ah, I see. You're on the track team then? Emmy nods enthusiastically.
Yep, I'm one of the better runners too.
And modest about it too.
You should join up. It's good exercise, you know.
I think that much activity is probably out of the question for me. Nah, I'm not even sure I really like running that much. Plus, I'm not into organized sports, you know? It's true, I've never even gotten that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends and all, but that was really the only reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Emmy seems to understand my meaning.
I see. Not that into the whole organization thing. But now that you're here, I guess we're gonna run together, huh?
What? Sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased.
Are you gonna warm up?
Real men don't have to warm up.
Oh no, you should always warm up. Bad, Hisao.
She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer.
I hate warming up too.
She laughs suddenly.
Heck, I don't even have to stretch my legs.
As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blade seems to be quite elastic.
Let's go!
So we both take off around the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run with a sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? And something about hitting the balls of your feet rather than the heels. I try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Apparently I'm not very good at it. Maybe Emmy could help me with that sometime. I'm not really feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to a walk pretty quickly. Emmy keeps running, and doesn't seem to notice I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor.
Finished already?
I hang my head ruefully. Yeah. I'm not in very good shape right now. Emmy nods and then grins at me again. She seems to be doing a lot of smiling.
Well, the important thing is that you started, right? Next time, you just have to try to hold out longer, and then longer and longer, and eventually you'll be great.
I'll keep that in mind. But I think right now I've got to go get ready for class. Shouldn't you? Emmy shrugs unconcernedly. Excuse me.
Nah, I've got plenty of time.
I notice that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug.
Not really, but I've got to finish my routine. See you later, Hisao.
Yeah, see ya. I'm not sure whether this morning's experiment was a success or a failure, but I'll admit that I do feel slightly good about going out here this morning. And like Emmy said, I just need to keep at it in order to get better, right? Practice makes perfect, or something like that. It's nice at least to feel like I've taken some semblance of control over my own health. I'll have to try to keep this up. I head back to the dorms to wash and change into my uniform, trying to resist the urge to take a really long and hot shower. I'm tired from all the running, so I just want to unwind, but I don't want to break my slowly building routine of getting to school before the morning rush. After taking a shower anyway, I dry myself off and get out of the stall to put on my clothes. Out of nowhere, a shadow appears within the mist, looming and radiating malicious intent. It bursts through the fog. What the fuck is this, dude? What the fuck?
Sup?
What are you doing here? What the hell? You scared me. What's your problem?
I should be asking you that. I've been looking all over the place, man. I've been looking for you all over the place, man.
What the hell do you mean all over the place? I want to ask you if he's been looking for me like that, stark naked, but hold my tongue back. I finally realize I'm still naked too, and quickly hold up my shirt in front of me, but Kenji doesn't seem to notice a thing. His glasses are fogged up, but then why doesn't he wipe them off? Is his vision so bad that he's perpetually seen through fog?
You know, your room, and yeah, that's it. Hey, I mean, I still had to get up though. Whatever, it's not important. Can I borrow some money?
He puts on an innocent face and looks away, trying very hard to look very casual. It doesn't work. He's as transparent and as window pane sized glasses. Talking neutral like this, wearing nothing, feels awkward. Actually, somehow it's even more awkward to be naked in front of someone when they can't see me being naked, to say nothing of the fact that he's naked as well. I try to brush the feeling off, with little success. Money? Sure.
Awesome.
Wait, why do you need it?
Can't you just give it to me because I had the goodwill not to run through your pockets while you were in the shower? I could have, but I exercised restraint. And in the end, isn't it the thought that counts? Come on, be a pal.
This makes no sense. If it's the thought that counts, I should withhold payment, since his thoughts were so clearly impure and his intentions are probably even more sinister since he can't tell me what they are. I say as much to him.
I'm offended, man, but if that's your game, then fine. I guess I have no choice. I want to order a pizza, and I already have most of the cost of the pizza. I need your help for the rest.
I get some of that pizza too, right?
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I would give you some, but you have class. You don't have time to eat a pizza.
What about you?
I'm not going to class. I have to wait for the pizza and pay the guy, and then eat it. It's not easy. You have to obtain the pizza stealthily. If you don't, everyone will see you, and the pizza, and they'll ask for a slice. It's a hard world out there. Everyone wants a pizza. Then you're left pizzaless in an unforgiving world. It's happened before. That's how I know. Every day I plan my vengeance so that when the people who wronged me order a pizza, I'll be there, ever vigilant.
Kenji strikes a dramatic pose, completely without irony.
But yeah, I only need like 400 yen. Please, you're my only hope. I can't go outside and buy my own pizza. It's too far. I'm not trying to go out unless it's absolutely necessary. Let me tell you what happened the last time I went out without carefully planning out in advance. I was outside. I can't remember what I was doing. Something? Standing? Maybe wondering how I got there. And then, out of nowhere, it happened. Like a flash of lightning splitting the sky. Like how you split a sandwich into 2 equal pieces to make it more manageable to hold and eat. A bird crapped on my head. It was the second most shocking thing of my life.
What was the first? He ignores me and keeps going. I want to grab him and shake him. Is he just trying to keep momentum? I'll go with that, even if it's more likely that he just didn't hear me.
It was like in the opening to some kind of anime show. You always know that there's a part where the main dude is fighting his rival, and they fly at each other and clash swords, and there's like some big dramatic colored auras and zoom. It was like that, but with poo.
Okay.
So yeah, I need money. Please, don't leave me hanging, man. I only need like 1,000 yen.
I thought it was 400.
Okay.
What?
I'll pay you back, I swear.
You better. This is what it means to borrow stuff.
I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back.
You have 1 week.
Ah.
Kenji winces and makes a noise like a dying cow, a particularly disturbing fact given that his baton is conducting freely.
You're not supposed to be so tight-assed about money between brothers in arms, man. Men have it bad enough as it is. Did you know that male porn stars only make about half of what female porn stars make?
That doesn't mean anything unless you're a porn star.
So maybe I am a porn star, on the side, struggling to make ends meet as I fight the feminist agenda. You can't even spot me your crumbs, you bastard. Nobody understands. Nobody.
Wouldn't feminists be against pornography in the first place? This feminist agenda stuff again.
This stuff is important. I can see that you don't give a shit, but this is serious here. Feminists are a dangerous enemy, make no mistake. You take them lightly, and you'll wake up in the morning with a knife in your back. Bam! Out of nowhere.
How do you make this up in the How do you wake up in the morning if someone stabbed you in your sleep? I slipped into a bit of an accent there.
Women are terrible at stabbing things.
I thought you just said don't take them lightly.
Well, I didn't mean take them lightly for the big things. Individually, they're not a threat. But if there was some kind of war, like a big war with men on one side and the feminist forces on the other side, it would be pretty ugly. And that day will come, when the feminists come out of their central, top-secret, worldwide feminist headquarters and say, "It's on now, motherfuckers!"
You're being ridiculous. There's no big worldwide feminist headquarters building. Where would they even hide that? I mean, it'd have to be massive. You couldn't hide that on Earth. Someone would notice a big fortress with women only in it.
Who said it was on Earth?
I turned away from Kenji and started practicing frowning faces in a mirror so that I can figure out what kind of frown would best express my emotions. He can't see me from this distance anyway. Which, unfortunately, means that he just keeps on ranting without any regard to sense or sensibility.
Yeah, there's a war going on. A war not many people know about. But it's a great one that will one day boil over and encompass all of the world, the known world. Then we'll have to pick sides. We will have to make a stand. In fact, it's happening right now. Imagine it. The bloody battlefield, a vicious conflict without end. I almost gave up. When I thought this cause was silly, when I grew tired of the bleakness of our fight, when I mistook the time the power went out for a feminist raid and thought the end was near. But then I realized that if I gave up, it would all be over, and I was like, whoa, and I knew I had to get serious because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. It's about duty.
Must be a pretty crappy movement if all its hinges on one naked guy ranting in a bathroom at another naked guy.
So can I have the money?
He's blocking the way out. It's getting cold because I'm still naked, and I want to go to class, so I agree to spot him the money.
Awesome, thanks dude. We should go bowling later on.
Bowling?
Yeah, it's the ultimate sport. There are almost no women bowlers either, making it the manliest sport.
Should I wear my
pink bowling shirt with matching shoes or the pastel green with flower accents?
Their bowling clothes?
Maybe.
Anyway, you'd better pay me back.
I can pay you back in stuff, right?
I don't have the time to ask him to elaborate on what that means. I don't know. I have to get to class, and you're kinda in the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't want to hold you up, and I have some stuff to do myself. The time has come.
The time for what?
I just like saying that. Okay, now the time has really come.
For what?
I have to use the bathroom. Get out of it.
I was just going to. And what does that mean? It's a big bathroom.
So, I have to be alone or I can't go. The pressure.
Okay, what if someone else comes in?
I'll think of something.
I give him my practice frown and it looks kind of silly reflected in his glasses. He either doesn't notice or doesn't see. Anyway, so I get dressed and run back to my room, feeling as though an eternity has passed since I woke up. God, Kenji is not only just annoying, but he's so annoying to voice because I gave him the most pesky voice to do and it just fucks up my throat so goddamn badly. That is time I will never get back. I'll get him for this somehow. But right now I have to get to class. I'm the first person in class today, although I think I'm a little too early. Then again, sitting alone here for 20 minutes sure beats having to suffer that time with Kenji. The combination of fatigue, frustration, and boredom starts making me feel very tired. I black out for a second, waking up when my head hits the surface of my desk. Rubbing my forehead, I realize this is as good a reason as any to stay up for now and stop coming to class so early later. Eventually, I hear a tapping noise outside in the hallway, and Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. She's not in this class, so she must have some other business. Maybe she's looking for Hanako. Lily stops at the door, looking hesitantly as if she was a vampire who can't come in unless invited. I consider doing so because she looks rather lonesome standing there. She steps in on her own accord though, after straightening her skirt and shirt collar as if it was of importance to look prim when entering our classroom.
Excuse me,
she calls into the quiet classroom with a probing, delicate voice. I realize the silence might unnerve her because of her blindness, so I break it. Good morning, Lily.
Hisao? Good morning. I didn't hear you come in.
I wonder if she thinks I'm suspicious. I wonder if she thinks it's suspicious that I didn't say anything to her before. It's likely. If I were to tell too big a lie now, it would sink me. Well, I was already here, just asleep until now.
Oh, have you seen Hanako today by any chance?
No, she seems to come in only just before the bell rings. Or after that. Do you want me to tell her something for you?
No, it's fine. It's strange, but I think we're the only two people in the school right now. I didn't hear anyone else on my way here.
I shouldn't have gotten up so early today, I guess.
You're chastising yourself for doing something that other people should? Punctuality is a good thing. I think so anyway. It's a very busy morning today. The festival is coming up soon, and today is the deadline for event registration, budget reports, and any other official paperwork. It could be that everyone is trying to complete the necessary forms at the last minute. Maybe that is why it's so quiet today.
God damn, that actually fucking scared me.
Hi!
Misha pops into the room with Shizune as if on cue, shouting with a loudness that makes Lily visibly flinch.
Hi, Hee-chan.
Hi.
Look, it's the class representative. Hello.
Lily smiles, probably amused by Misha's, or Shizune's, use of the word look.
Good morning. Of course you're not the representative of this class, right? Right?
I'm not. Lily seems a little more guarded in her answers to Shizune than she was with me the other day. I guess they really don't get along at all. Then I realize that Lily might actually not know Shizune's present, and she's trying to detect whether she is or not, to know who she's talking to. For all she knows, she's talking to Misha, but knowing that she and Shizune are practically inseparable, she might expect Shizune being the one that actually talks. Damn, how complicated. I decide to help Lily out, for my own peace of mind more than anything else. You're here early, Shizune.
You were here earlier than us.
Misha puffs out her cheeks angrily. Why is she getting angry? Does she feel emotions on Shizune's behalf too? It's not that weird though, that Shizune didn't like my little comment. It's true, I was here earlier than them. So me saying something like that could definitely be misinterpreted as anything. Especially to Shizune, who doesn't have the benefit of hearing tone to gauge intent. Before I can start weighing whether or not I should apologize, Shizune has already moved on.
Class rep, it's a good thing you're here. We have to talk. The festival's coming up in 3 days, right? Every other class has already handed in their project budget reports for their events. Even the first years. Except you.
There's still some time to hand it in, isn't there?
Today! The deadline is today! You're certainly taking your time, aren't you? If I had it my way, I'd have had all the necessary prep work days ago, but someone had to say the deadline, please extend it.
Yes, that was me. Planning something on this scale is not a small task, and a week is too small a time frame to expect a whole class to work out such a complex issue completely.
Do you want to know what's harder than distributing the funds for one class's event? Handling the same matter for every class in the school and then some. The one who does that is me.
Misha puts her hands on her hips and stands upright. Wow, she's really getting into the role. Lily doesn't look like she's very amused, though. Hey, Shizune, aren't you being a little too hard on her? There's a whole day left. Please, Hisao, it's alright. Lily seems happy I'm taking her side, but a little bit conflicted that I might not think she can take care of herself. If this is about the budget, then I'm disappointed you think I have forgotten about it. I understand how important it is.
Then, can I have it, please?
Shizune, she might not have it on her at this exact second. It's not here right now. I asked 2 students to take care of it for me. Students from my class. She emphasized the last sentence, much to my surprise. She knows about Shizune and Misha's efforts to rope me into the student council. I guess word must have gotten around, so now she's using me as ammo against Shizune. This just gets better and better.
It was your responsibility. A budget report isn't something you should just be delegating away. As class rep, it's your job to be on top of things. This kind of disregard for proper procedure is really just terrible.
They completed it, being capable of doing so, but the students have been sick recently, so they could not come to school and give it back to me. If you want it, I will apologize on their behalf for getting sick.
Okay.
Although Misha misses Lily's little jab entirely, Shizune doesn't, and she seems torn between being offended by Lily's daring and jumping for joy at the prospect of a challenge.
Lily, don't they live here at school? That's a 5-minute walk, you know. What could they possibly have that prevents them from taking 5 minutes out of their busy lives to drop off something that will affect the enjoyment of their entire class?
Lily opens her mouth to say something, but Shizune closes the gap between them and starts sighing furiously, waving her hands around like an orchestra conductor. Misha tries her best to convey the same passion, but can't seem to lose her normal cheerful tone. The result is interesting and somewhat surreal.
And what's with that attitude? I said that it's not something you should be delegating anyway. Are you the class representative, or aren't you? Tell me the names of those 2 students. They should have their job. They should have your job if you can't even handle something this simple yourself.
One form isn't the full extent of what I'm supposed to take care of. Lily's tone is growing slightly impatient, but she's doing a good job of not letting Shizune see how unsettled she's becoming. She's playing her cards close to her chest. Shizune, on the other hand, wraps her fingers cheerfully along the edge of her glasses, knowing Lily can neither hear nor see how excited she is.
Of course you do so much, class rep. It's just so difficult being you.
Lily tightens her lips at Misha's words, clearly understanding the intent behind them, even though Misha delivers them without even a hint of sarcasm, which they were meant to have. Shizune and Lily don't like each other. That much is clear. But this is a little much. It seems like Lily has had enough and is ready to push back. Oh. Punches! Punches! I was actually just discussing the budget report before you came by. You must be very talented to have finished all your student council duties so quickly that you can track me down to make sure I don't forget my own. Are you accusing me of slacking off? It seems like you're confusing me with yourself. I don't think so. That would be a very difficult thing for me to do, comparing myself to you. You're right. The difference between us is like heaven and hell. And it's not that hard to guess which one you might represent. God damn! The air between them ripples with the heat of their enmity. Well, not really. They can't disguise it anymore, though. Even Misha looks like she's beginning to understand the real nature of this conversation. Hee-chan, don't you slack off either. What are you talking about? Aren't you taking part in the festival, Hee-chan? You are, aren't you? Then, I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure this goes smoothly than it... I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure it goes more smoothly than this person. I don't understand why Shizune's suddenly getting mad at me. Let's see. You know what? This is some bullshit, bro. Cut me and Lily some slack. Hey, I'm the new guy, remember? It's not like I could have done much even if I wanted. That's right. You shouldn't expect a transfer student to jump right into it on his first week. Lily taking my side feels oddly comforting, so I decide to back her up too. Yeah, and you're being unreasonable with us both. Ooh, that got her. Excuses, excuses. Miss Class Rep has had plenty of time to deal with her report. And we repeatedly offered you a position to help with the student council work, but you refused to commit yourself to making the festival a success. Yeah, but as I said back then, I'm not sure if... I don't have time for this right now. No matter what I do, it will mean being drawn into a confrontation with Shizune, and that is what she wants. Whatever. Forget it. I turn my back at them. Lily, class is going to be starting soon, so we can talk more later. I'll tell Hanako that you were looking for her. I can feel Shizune freezing. Maybe this is the first time she's ever been ignored in such a blunt manner. Thank you, Hisao. I'll leave now then. She gives me the sweetest smile I've seen all week and turns on her ears to... Hey, let's go! Let's go! Bruh, Lily, Hanako, we're the fucking squad. I said it last episode. We are the fucking squad, man. Fuck that bitch. You can be deaf, you can be mute. I don't give a shit. You can't be talking smack to me and my squad. Yes! Yes! Hell yeah. Hell yeah, baby. As soon as Lily walks out the door, I suddenly start feeling reluctant about turning to face Shizune. I can feel her eyes burning into my back and can't bring myself to look at her. She must be furious. I keep expecting Misha to say something to alleviate the tension, but it really isn't wanting much. In the end, I go back to my seat and listen to the sound of Shizune's footsteps as she marches out of the room. She doesn't return until a few minutes before class. Hanako doesn't come to the morning class at all, leaving her seat looking empty and lonely in the back of the classroom. I have to tell her that Lily was looking for her if I see her later. After the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. I turn the pages of my textbook lazily. I have a bit of catching up to do, despite trying to keep up with my studies at the hospital, and I'm not feeling that enthusiastic about it. The clock at the front of the room sounds unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything in over 7 minutes, instead opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on a blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking of the clock. I start to copy down the equations just to pass the time, even though they're right there in the textbook. When the bell rings, I'm not in a hurry because I have nothing to do. So I stayed for a while, reviewing what we covered in class today. I prefer to leave last anyway, so I don't have to deal with crowding in the hallways. I noticed Shizune and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to someone from another class. Shizune is signing so fast that her hands make noises like swords cutting through the air. Maybe there is pent-up anger in there. Misha is trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear she can barely manage to even understand her. I put my head down. Whatever they're discussing, it looks like serious business. Shizune signs to the point where her wrists crackle, and Misha struggles to spit it out in word form. Sometimes she trips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters, and then on top of that, she has to sign back anything the other girl says. Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished, and the girls sit down on their seats again.
Ugh, I'm so tired.
She's hanging her head limply on her desk, looking exhausted. I'll use the opportunity to reconcile with Shizune a bit, without getting roped into the student council thing again, though I suspect that door is now closed for me. Festival preparations must be tough for you. Indeed, the people in this school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whenever I see people idling around before and after classes, they're always talking about their plans for it. It's kinda neat to see everyone being so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have something to do. Shizune scoffs at me at first, as if trying to decide whether to ignore or sneer at me, but in the end she starts signing without doing either. Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, heavy, dramatic strokes. Misha translates her signing into speech for me. She does it so well that it's almost like Shizune is actually speaking, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. She must have practiced it vigorously.
Well, of course. We're in the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. It's an important duty of ours to ensure the success of the festival with all our strength. We would shame ourselves in front of the past student council generations if the festival were to fail. That's why there must be no flaws, I think that was encumbrances, nothing that might make the festival short of perfect.
Shizune's passionate speech and Misha's enacting are really oddly fitting of them.
Oh, hello?
Hey! I look over my shoulder and see Hanako peering timidly into the classroom, most of her body hidden behind the door.
Hey, playing delinquent again?
Hanako blushes hard at Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only in jest. Shizune stares at her probingly, causing Hanako to look down and starting backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edge of the door. Maybe she's showing her dislike of Hanako by association of her dislike of Lily. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it as well. What is it, Hanako?
Has Lily been here? Sorry, haven't seen Sato. She, came by in the morning, though.
Hanako keeps looking uneasily at Shizune, who stares back at her with her usual studying gaze. What is she trying to do? Of course, Shizune isn't going to look away, and she's intimidated enough as it is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. It is a little uncomfortable watching Hanako's reaction to Shizune's normal behavior. This is what happens when two people of different extremes meet, it seems.
Do you know where she is? If she has any sense in her head, she's in her classroom working on their festival project, but who knows where that woman is loitering at?
You need to find her? She was looking for you in the morning, but I guess you have missed each other. She waits a little without answering the simple question, looking awfully like she's not sure if it's proper to answer such a question.
Yeah.
I can come with you, if it's okay. Hanako nods fractionally, still on her guard, her shoulders stiff like wood. I get the feeling that she might be more comfortable by herself after all, but it's too late to back off now. She has this really troubled expression she seems to wear almost constantly, one that makes me constantly be on guard myself. I wonder why. I kind of understand why she always seems to be so wary, or more like why there could be a person like her. But I still have no idea how I should act around such a person. It's dinner time soon. Were you planning to eat with Lily? She nods slightly. so she must have been trying to get in the cafeteria. Well, there's something of a dinner crowd, just like the cafeteria is crowded during lunch. If it's not as bad because dinner time is longer than lunch hour, but I can understand why Hanako would be discouraged from going to it. I pick up my bag and we take our leave. Hanako skips a little to meet my initial pace, so I slow down to match her speed. It doesn't take long for us to be walking at a comfortable pace down the hallway. It almost feels like we're going for a stroll together, something I can't say I've really done before with a girl. Hanako doesn't seem to be thinking about the same thing, though. Even though we are walking at the same pace, she never comes within arm's reach of me. I guess she's still a little uncomfortable around me. Given how shy she is, there doesn't seem to be much helping it, at least for now. By the time we arrive at the cafeteria, there's not much of a crowd there, but Lily is nowhere to be seen. Hanako's head sinks even lower than usual. Have you looked somewhere else already?
Just at the library. I was reading.
So she does spend the classes she skips at the library. Ah, so not exactly a thorough search then. Well, if I had to guess, she'd be in her own class like Shizune said then, right?
Right.
With the slightest of nods, Hanako agrees with my reasoning. God, she's being so awkward. It's like I need double-layered silk gloves with padding to even begin interacting with her. Some small talk might help her become a bit more used to me. It isn't hard to tell that the silence between us is hovering on the edge of both our minds. So, you and Lily usually hang out together after class, right?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure what I expected from her answer, nor why I even asked the question. That much was rather obvious after all. She doesn't seem like the type to cultivate a social circle either, so I suspect that Lily may well be her only friend. Must be a pain being in different classes, I'm guessing. She gives a sharp, almost reflexive nod. Compared to Lily's careful thought about her actions and speech, Hanako hastens to make her answers as prompt and short as possible.
Lily comes by the classroom, though, even when she's busy.
She gives a small smile as she says it, evidently appreciating the fact that Lily goes out of her way to help her. It's pretty cute, really. There isn't any need to say more. Both of us content that the discussion's reached an end. As we ascend the staircase back to the lobby, we're met by a group of students heading downstairs like a school of fish moving from one feeding area to another. They seem to be keeping mostly to themselves, but before I can notice her doing so, Hanako has moved around behind me. Hey, are you alright?
Just keep going.
The students pass us without as much as a second glance, and Hanako takes up position to my side again as we enter the building, her momentary reprieve from her anxiety all but snatched away. As we climb towards the third floor, she doesn't seem to relax. It's as if I've known a shy person before. It's as if I've never known a shy person before, or even shy girls, but Hanako seems to be pretty far beyond what I'd call normal in her fear of other people. If it weren't for Lily acting as a mediator, I doubt Hanako would have been able to walk beside me like this. She seems to be completely shut down in the presence of others. The rest of the walk up to Lily's classroom continues in strange silence, while I rue her inability to socialize at all. After we make our way up the stairs, the noise coming from Lily's classroom is audible from halfway down the hallway. I wasn't expecting such a din at all. Well, I guess we found her. This wasn't hard. Did Hanako come here first, then come to me for backup, I wonder? Well, if that's true, then at least she's starting to trust me a little. That can only be a good thing. Eventually, the two of us reach the door to Class 3-2, with Hanako less than subtly positioning herself behind me. I open the door. Inside is a hive of activity, seemingly every student in the class talking at once as they work hurriedly over their separate tasks. Going by the paint cans, decorations, and banners being made, it must be for the upcoming school festival. I guess my first priority should be finding Lily. There. Finding her among the din is surprisingly easy, not the least because of her looks. With a couple of students gathered around her as she stands at the front of the class, she seems to be in charge of the preparations, or at least busy organizing them. Carefully negotiating a path for the various students hunched over the floor on the lack of desk space, I raised a hand entirely out of habit as we finally reached Lily. Hi, Lily. She perks her head up as she breaks off, talking to a noticeably smaller girl who must be her classmate, trying to listen as best she can.
Sorry, who?
Sorry. Peace out. I have Hanako too.
Hi.
She's pretty skittish. Considering the number of people around, it isn't too hard to work out why. Lily takes a moment's pause to assess the situation, before turning to the other student once again.
For the moment, just ask Moria for his advice. Kenji's busy with painting one of the banners already.
A quick nod and she bounces off, fingers carefully sliding along the wall's face for orientation. Wait, Kenji? That Kenji? I quickly turn about, leaning to the side to see past Hanako. Sure enough, in the corner of the room, Kenji's hunched over a sheet of cloth as he paints it. His eyes remain only inches from the brush, reminding me of how close he had to be to make out my face when I met him.
Sorry about that. Our class doesn't have many students with even partial eyesight, so they're in high demand.
That's right. Class 3-2 was specifically for students with poor vision. Preparing the festival must be pretty audacious for them. Need a hand? I could help you if you need some. Maybe Hanako could too. A chance to set her mind on something would do her good, but I doubt she has the courage to ask outright. She quickly nods in affirmation afterwards, so I'm confident I made the right move. Lily gives a noticeable sigh of relief.
That's good. This might actually get finished before everyone goes off to dinner now. Would you be able to help the person painting the main banner? It's a big task for him to do, but nobody else can help.
Kenji? Sure. She seems surprised that I know him. I can't really blame her.
I take it you've met?
Our rooms in the dorm are right next to each other. Hard to miss each other, really.
Well, it's good to see you're getting friends so fast.
Friend. I wonder if that's the right word to use for him. Hanako's silence during the proceedings reminds me of the reason I put her up to helping in the first place. We'll go help him then. He knows what needs doing, right?
That's right. Just ask him if you have any problems.
Carousing in assent, Hanako and I begin another trek across the classroom. Kenji sits crouched on the floor, his gaze fixed on the white calico in front of him. Hey, Kenji. No answer. He continues dragging his paint-soaked brush along the large, half-painted kanji that's sketched on the sheet in pencil. Kenji?
Huh? What? Who is it?
If this is the way he treats his class members, it's no small wonder he's working on his own. It's me, Hisao, from the...
Right, I know that man. What are you doing here, though?
His dismissive attitude annoys me. He must be the type to really get focused on his work, hating to be disturbed by anyone until he's done, I suppose. While we talk, the sound of Hanako's footsteps as she walks out from behind me reminds me that she's here. I was just going to help with the banner. Hanako and I, that is.
Hello. Oh, hey. I guess that's okay.
As soon as Hanako enters the equation, his demeanor takes a complete about-face. His sudden foul hospitality is slightly unsettling. Oh, right. Woman. On second thought, this might not have been a great idea after all. Hanako and I grudgingly set ourselves down on the opposite side of the cloth banner to Kenji, noting the several small paint tins on the ground around it. Class 3-2. Noodle stall? You guys selling noodles at the festival on Sunday?
Yeah, some stalls outside, or something.
Or something. His non-committal nature speaks a fair amount of my suspicion on my behalf. The task at hand comes first, though. So, how do you want to split this? We do borders while you do the text, or do you want to switch and do the borders?
Text is mine. You do the borders.
He has surprisingly strong feelings on this topic. As I reach over to grab a brush, I notice Hanako is already debating between colors to use. By the time I've put brush to cloth, she's already started on a delicate pattern. Looks like my idea of taking her mind off everyone around her worked. With a dark blue stroke, the three of us silently get to work. Not before Kenji takes advantage of Hanako's working to lean towards me and whispers conspiratorially, though.
Okay, man. Why are you here?
Hanako just wanted some help to find Lily. That's all. He apparently disapproves of my motivations.
I get it. It looks like I misjudged you. You're infiltrating them, aren't you? Going deep undercover?
I should have guessed. Letting the truth slip past him would probably be better than outright lying or annoying him in any case. Is that why you're here?
Obviously, it sucks, but there's no better way to get intel than going in yourself. We gotta stick together, man. This is a harsh school, a harsh world.
Yes, very harsh. He misses my true intentions as he leans back, satisfied I'm sympathetic to his cause. I'd better get down to work.
Finished.
Looks like I am too. Good job. The two of us connect up the lines of our patterns, mine being as close a copy as I could manage of hers. With a grunt, I lever myself up from the floor and I look around. Aside from Hanako and myself, there's only Kenji left finishing off his sign, as well as Lily and a couple of students talking amongst themselves in the classroom. Looking at my watch, it's no surprise. It's getting pretty late. Need a hand? I offer a hand to Hanako, which she uses to get herself up. As she does, I can't help but glance at her wrist. If her scars extend even to there, just how much of her body is burned? I feel a pang of guilt about it, however, as she quickly covers her wrist with her other hand. It looks good, doesn't it? She looks surprised for a moment before noticing that I mean the banner.
It does, I guess.
Her smile shows that she feels a slight sense of pride in the result, just as I do. With the floor significantly neater for the decorations being placed on the desks and shelves, it's much easier to get to Lily as we cross the room. We finished the banner. I guess that's all that needs to be done. Lily gives an appreciative nod.
Thank you, Hisao, Hanako. If there's any way I can thank you.
It's fine. Beats sitting in my room studying at any rate.
I don't mind either.
She nods, before suddenly remembering one last person.
Oh, is Kenji still here? Is Kenji still here?
Just as I open my mouth, Kenji gives the answer from the other side of the room.
Yeah, just finished.
He carefully slides his sign onto an empty section of the shelf to dry, before quickly walking past us and out the door.
See ya, man.
Bye. The remaining two students say their goodbyes to Lily before taking their cue to leave as well, leaving only the three of us. Well, I guess that's everyone.
I hope we don't have to do anything like that again.
Working past school time?
Indeed. The class's plans this year were ambitious. Maybe too ambitious. The stalls look nice, though.
She's right. It shows that a lot of work's going into them.
My, I'm sure a lot of us would be glad to hear that. At least now there's not much work to do until the festival itself. It's getting pretty late. Should we go? That's probably a good idea. Are you going back to the dorms as well, Hisao?
Yeah, I guess I'll tag along. The nighttime lighting really makes the nighttime lighting really makes the gardens look quite different. Compared to the usual look of lush greenery, things are much more calm. Being that it is so late, the lack of students around probably helps. The odd one or two can be seen scurrying to and from the dorms, trying to eke the most out of their approaching curfews, but no more. All that can be heard is our footsteps, in addition to Lily's cane regularly gently tapping the ground in front of her. It's nice to finally be able to relax a bit after the mad rush during school. Without even noticing it, I let out a small yawn.
Tired?
Yeah, still getting used to the flow of things, I guess. The, thing with Shizune took me kind of off guard, though. I grit my teeth a little at the candid mention of their rather public spat. That said, I do want to sort out what in the world was behind it.
About that. I'm sorry about it being so public. Shizune and I go back some ways.
Her voice seems slightly irritated as she remembers Shizune, obviously unwilling to discuss it further. I glance to Hanako for her views on this, but her expression is, unsurprisingly, evasive and difficult to read. Either way, I guess her apologizing for it is something, even if my curiosity goes unanswered.
I'll be glad once the festival is over in any case.
The change of topics is welcome, clearing the thickening air quickly. I can imagine. My old school's festivals were a lot more low-key than this.
Yamaku stresses the idea of a school community, so the staff likes to make our festivals and such special occasions.
And yet the students are the ones who do the work. What an unfair world. Hanako and Lily both chuckle in agreement, savoring the fact that none of the staff are around to hear our grumbling. I suppose coming from a strict all-girls school helped me a bit with Yamaku. Compared to there, Yamaku is much more relaxed. That'd go a way towards explaining her well-bred speech and behavior in any case. As we come up to the dormitories, it eventually comes time to leave for our respective rooms. See you, Lily. Hanako. The two both give polite nods before setting off to the women's dorms, just next to the guys. As is to be expected of such an arrangement, there's a staff member casually patrolling around outside to prevent any nighttime shenanigans. Walking past him, I quickly stretch my arms and rub my neck. Both quite sore after having worked on the floor for so long, before walking to my room. It feels so good to actually have direction, though. After so long in the hospital, the everyday facts of studying, homework, and teachers seems almost a blessing. I guess if things continue like this, my time at Yamaku might turn out okay. Adhering to the nurse's nagging voice in the back of my head, I set my alarm clock to wake me up early enough to go jogging again. I made a promise, and I'm going to keep it. Besides, Emmy's bound to rat on me if I don't show up. But it's not all that bad. I forgot to take my pills, didn't I? Yo, hold up, I forgot to take my pills. You can't do this. Do I take the pills in the morning or night? Okay, let's just see. My alarm goes off and I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I decided to give morning runs another shot. I don't know if this was the greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. This is about my health after all. Sure, things haven't been great for me lately, but that hasn't made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of a control over this thing, right? If I can manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Honestly, this is probably one of my more favorite string of episodes in these 3 episodes here. And I'm really, really enjoying this. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like on the video. And if you want to see more of this series, or if you like any of the other series that you see on my channel, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. And that'll be it for this time. See you guys next video.